and Friday. No Mercy with Stephen A. Smith, a presentation of Cadence 13 and Odyssey Studio, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you listen to your podcast.
This is KNX News, 97.1 FM.
The people you know.
The voices you trust.
It's 2:30. Good afternoon. I'm Brian Pang.
And I'm Karen Adams. It is a mess near LAX right now. The CHP used a pit maneuver to end a chase that started in San Diego. They trapped the car, the guy jumped out, and is now perched on a K-rail with airbags deployed under him. Let's go live now to our Pete Dimitrio, who's at the scene with more.
I'm roughly about 110 yards west of this guy on Century Boulevard. I got a clear line sight of him through my binoculars. He's sitting on the rail, not a K-rail, but actually on the rail of the bridge, which goes from north-south Sepulveda into Century Boulevard, then into the airport. He's surrounded by about 8 CHP officers. For the last 20 minutes that I've been here, they've been talking with him and trying to offer him water. He's not taking it. The situation is a little precarious because he is actually sitting on top of the rail. He doesn't have anything tied onto it that would hold him up in the event he lost his balance and went backwards. But you do have a number of LA City fire trucks that are here, along with airport fire trucks as well, and ambulances and paramedics standing by. I believe you mentioned from an aerial view that they do have an airbag deployed underneath him, so if he does fall backwards, well, he's going to land onto that. What they actually want this guy for, no one really says at this point. All they know is it started roughly in Chula Vista, wound up here. Right now, you've got about 8 officers politely talking to this guy. He's animated, smiling, waving with his hands, not losing his balance. He takes an occasional look over his shoulder to see what he's facing. That 40-foot drop is probably not very appetizing. Reporting live at Century Boulevard, looking at this man sitting on the railing. I'm Pete Dimitrio, KNX News 97.1 FM.
Okay, Pete, so just to reiterate here, this is the intersection of Century and Sepulveda, right?
That is correct. It is Century Boulevard when it is about to break off and go into the airport complex itself. Sepulveda is about 100 yards away from where this overpass is. If you were coming up Sepulveda Boulevard going northbound to get into the airport to get into Century, that was the overpass that he was on when they did the pit maneuver. That's where he is right now, and he has not moved since that time. Again, as I'm looking at him through binoculars, very animated, smiling even.
That is one of the worst intersections in Southern California to be closed because people are going to miss flights. This is right at the entrance to the horseshoe of LAX, and if that whole intersection's closed, people aren't just going to have many good alternates to get to the airport.
The only real option they have is to come Sepulveda Boulevard south. That is not a problem. So go north of Century Boulevard, get off, get to Sepulveda, come Sepulveda into the airport itself. Trying to do it on the northbound side, can't do it, can't get in any other way. And how long this guy's going to stand here, well, that's up to him, not the officers. They're not pushing it, not at this point.
All right, Pete, thank you very much.
And Tom Trent will have an update on the traffic problems near the LAX area in just a few minutes. It is 2:33. Officials in South LA are urging African Americans to get their COVID shots before another deadly winter surge. John Baird talked to some of the people involved in this urgent effort.
A report just released shows blacks living in LA County have been hit hard by COVID-19 with 3,000 deaths. But doctors, community leaders, and others say they want to halt the carnage and believe getting the vaccine is the way to do it.
And need to roll up our sleeves and take our shot.
Dr. Jerry Abraham is with Kedron Vaccine in South Los Angeles.
As we improve the health of black lives in Los Angeles County, we must eliminate deaths due to COVID.
LA County statistics show 73% of the overall population has been fully vaccinated so far, and 81% have had at least one dose, but that's not the case among the African American population.
While 60% of our community are vaccinated, that leaves 40% of people out.
He blames the medical mistrust and distrust in the local community. John Baird, KNX News 97.1 FM.
Health officials say the number of cases of monkeypox is falling in Los Angeles County. Public Health Director Barbara Ferrer says as of today, there are 2,149 confirmed cases in the county.
They also continue to be primarily among gay and bisexual men and other men who have sex with men, and the median age of cases remains at 35. Since most people with monkeypox have had mild to moderate illness, our hospitalization rate remains low, with 5% of cases in LA County.
She says the cities of Long Beach and Pasadena have also reported cases.
That's not it.
The jury handed down its verdict today in the molestation case against actor Kevin Spacey. Details after traffic. It's 2:35.
And your traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Here's Tom Tran.
Yeah, as I've been telling you, this pursuit that started in San Diego has ended at the ramp from Sepulveda Boulevard to Century Boulevard, as Pete Demetrio just told you. That is causing an absolute disaster for anybody trying to get to LAX. Sepulveda Boulevard is basically stopped underneath the runway there through the tunnel. The 105 ramp to Sepulveda Boulevard is affected. Century Boulevard is now loaded up from before Airport Boulevard, and Skyway coming from the north, that's going to be jammed up as well. So huge problems. Well, police deal with this situation after the pursuit, but the pursuit is over. On the Hollywood Freeway, northbound side of the 101, seeing a backup trying to get into Hollywood. I see the slowing start really out of downtown. It usually lets up a little bit, but it is jammed solid until you get past Hollywood Boulevard. Southbound side slows at Hollywood Boulevard, busy all the way down into East LA. Southbound side of the 5 slows pretty much out of Burbank from the 134, and that's going to stay busy down into Santa Fe Springs. And let us not forget the ramp from the north 57 to the west 60 through Diamond Bar, shut down until about 5:30 because of this overturned big rig. It's backed up from Tonner Canyon, and Brea Canyon Road is still your better option to go northbound. You're going to see a little bit of slowing on Brea Canyon, but once you get past Tonner, things open up, and then it's fine heading into Diamond Bar. So that's what you want to do if you're trying to get northbound instead of the 57. Your next report's 2:45 from the Simpson Automotive Group 24-hour traffic center.
Lows for tonight, we're back into the 60s, and then we continue our cool down tomorrow. Cloudy skies and highs staying in the 70s. We're going to continue cooling down into the weekend when we'll see a lot more cloud cover and some possible rain out there. Right now in Santa Monica, you are looking at 78 degrees. Long Beach has 89.
It's 2:37. A jury in New York says actor Kevin Spacey did not molest a fellow actor in the 80s. During the civil trial, Anthony Rapp claimed he suffered psychological damage after Spacey made sexual advances. Now, Spacey testified that the encounter never happened.
A federal appeals court panel has unanimously rejected a request by Senator Lindsey Graham to block a subpoena for his testimony before a Georgia grand jury. Graham had asked the 11th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals to stay an order compelling his testimony. In its ruling, the panel said Senator Graham has failed to demonstrate that he is likely to succeed on the merits of his appeal. The grand jury is investigating former President Trump for criminal interference in the state's 2020 presidential election.
Students walked out of John Marshall High in Los Feliz today, a day after there was a stabbing on campus. At least 2 people stabbed yesterday during a fight. They are students, but there's a third person involved who may not go to school there. Now, the students walked off campus demanding better safety measures and accountability. Some carried signs that read, "This is the new normal," and "Hold administration accountable."
Declining enrollment is still plaguing colleges and universities nationwide. Doug Shapiro is with the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center. He says sticker shock and years of debt are sending potential students straight into the workforce, and that colleges are trying to adjust, at least in terms of flexibility.
There are colleges that are trying to provide more courses in shorter time frames. They're trying to provide more online and hybrid course offerings to give students more flexibility, particularly if they're trying to work part-time as they're also going to school.
The latest drop is 1.1%. Now, the good news is that is not nearly as steep as the record 6.5% decline over the first 2 years of the pandemic.
Cyber thieves and other scam artists are busy these days, and there's a new con to be aware of. Vicki Moore says it's called pig butchering.
This scam, known as pig butchering, targets successful professionals, fattening them up before stealing their money. Hundreds of thousands to over $1 million. The contacts have come through text messages and even communication on social platforms, including LinkedIn. As people have become more comfortable over the last couple of years doing business virtually, one district attorney here in California says the online crimes have skyrocketed. According to the Wall Street Journal, that fattening is a reference to setting up a cryptocurrency account, encouraging the victims to invest more based on fake gains, and then the scam ends and the money is gone. According to the federal agency that tracks internet crime complaints, this is part of a continuing scam that cost victims here in the U.S. more than $429 million in the last year. The old advice remains the best advice in these situations: do not respond to strange text messages or other communication, and when possible, file a report. Vicki Moore, KNX News, 97.1 FM.
Russian airstrikes have destroyed almost a third third of Ukraine's power stations in the last few weeks. Correspondent Cammie McCormick says there are concerns about getting through the winter.
Weather forecasters are predicting a milder than usual winter, but additional imports of gas may be